Hi and welcome back to Cheeky Crypto. Today guys, we're going to be talking about Bitcoin, what's been going on most recently with the price action and what I think is going to happen next. Now as I get into this video, if you find it useful and informative, hit the like button, I do appreciate that. If you happen to be new to the channel, then why not go ahead and subscribe. Tap the bell, select all the notifications, and in doing so, you will be kept up to date with absolutely everything that we do here at Cheeky Crypto. And if you have not yet joined us in Discord, the link is in the description down below. It's a fantastic community talking crypto 24/7. It's completely free and I don't think you'll be disappointed by what you find down there. So why not go ahead and check that out? Okay, let's make a start with this, right? Bitcoin paired up with USDT on the hourly chart and Binance is the data source. And there's so many things that we can talk about in this particular video. We actually cover a fair amount of it in the live stream on Twitch. So links to Twitch in the description below. Do check that out and you'll find more details there, and also more details over everything that we talk about in the Discord server as well. So as you can kind of see here, we're tracking this move to the downside. It looks like 335 coming down here towards $20,000, and then we're starting to surge back up. I have this kind of scoped out towards this area here of 21,268 and towards the higher range of 21,676. This is the typical area that you find a wave 5 to finish in. Okay, now lots of different ways that a wave 5 could be. We could have an ending diagonal. We could just have the standard kind of impulsive section. So we're going to keep an eye out on seeing, what actually forms here and what doesn't, right? So we can see that we moved up today towards this 21,000, what is it, 21,085 according to Binance, and we pull back down. This is perfectly fine. One of the things that I think is very important that we reflect on is we've gone from oversold to overbought to oversold rapidly fast, right? This tells us that there are not that many people selling. Okay, so this actually tells us that the momentum is shifting from overbought to oversold, and we're going to continue this move to the upside. So I'm not overly concerned or anything like that about that. That's all looking pretty good, at least for this fifth wave movement. Once this is done, of course, we'll be moving to the downside. You can see the 4 hours progressing to the upside. I imagine that by the time this fifth wave is done, that we're going to be overbought on that 4-hour chart, and the 8-hour chart might just move up a little bit before collapsing back down again. Wouldn't be the first time that such a thing has occurred either, so I'm not too concerned there. We're overbought on the daily, so do expect some moves to the downside, and their weekly chart, guys, is ready for a bit of a drop to the downside as well. So nothing here outside of a standard kind of corrective structure. Of course, if we do hit 21,666, the dashed line just at the upper end there, that does kind of cause a few issues, and specifically with what that might do for people's sentiment, right? It might make people feel a little bit more bullish, but I'm not confident that that's going to actually indicate terribly too much, but we keep it there as a reference point to see how things kind of progress. Now, in terms of everything that's been going on most recently, we know it's kind of really driven from the DXY. We can see the DXY is looking for a move to the upside soon on the hourly chart. So when that happens, we'll see Bitcoin, etc., move down, but I don't think we're there yet. We've got some time to kind of go on that one. The sentiment as it stands right now, so just throw this into the last 15 minutes, just here, we can see that it is pretty much 51% going short, and you can kind of see that by these platforms here. Move that back to the 5 minutes just to see what's going on from that kind of standpoint. Yeah, 50-50, a little bit more on the shorting. So people aren't really feeling it right now. Now, obviously, I'm saying that the price is likely to go up here, and we're likely to see this area, and obviously the stochastic RSIs are very clear on that as well. And usually the price tends to go against the majority on those leverage positions, as in there's liquidity that gets added right up here, not down here when people are shorting. Throw those order blocks in, you can see that there's order blocks that got hit and we got pulled back down. So this is basically an order block of sellers. Okay, we can see it got hit here, but we are not fully through that yet. It's a small block, so we got rejected once, not many sellers. Come back up, we'll probably go straight through it and chew through those orders, in my opinion. In terms of buying orders, they're all the way down here at 18k, so nothing too major there to be kind of concerned with. From a liquidity, you can see that there's a lot of long positions here, so possible that we just have a crazy wick just come down, and then we can come up and take out all those short positions. So just be aware that all of this liquidity that's stacked up specifically around this low area down here could basically see us do something crazy like this. A, B, grab it, and then out of nowhere just go up and do something, like this, for example, and just liquidate anyone else who was potentially going short. And so just bear in mind that there's a lot of liquidity, actually more to the downside, which is actually surprising. When we take a look at the sentiment here, you can see that actually it's stacking up very, very much to short the market, but we're not really seeing that in this chart just yet. At least Binance isn't really doing it too much. So they're actually long in the market on Binance. And so it's interesting to kind of see that data kind of stack up there. So that's good to see. And the other thing to kind of bear in mind is that we actually have a little bit more in the way of outflows and inflows, but nothing too major, and we actually got a lot more in the way of inflows rather than outflows over the last little while. Now, as we can see, that there weren't not actually that much participants going on from the shrimps, the dolphins, and the whales, and etc. So we can see that the whales did come out a little bit. The krakens didn't really do terribly too much. Not much actually going on other than retail investors kind of coming in a little bit over here. So nothing much to really report from kind of the wallets and things like that. Slow weekend, but maybe there's going to be some volatile movements just from market makers pushing the price up. Either way, I'm looking at this as a fifth wave structure finishing. And then from there, looking at breaking on down. Above and beyond that, we can zoom out further, pay attention to the bigger picture here. At the moment, we're talking 17,290 on the 1-to-1. But we could actually change this into so many different things. So I'm not confident that this is going to be the bottom or anything like that. I still think 16,000 is still looking pretty good. And again, all of this being corrective just means that we can do more corrective actions like this, and then come down out of absolutely nowhere and do that later. Okay, so we've got to bear in mind that these corrective patterns, these three-wave structures that we're mapping here, they're not giving us any longer term plays than what you currently see. So at this point, if we are only to go down to 17,290, it's a swing in the market, so we'll be looking for upward moves at that point. And likewise, when we're down here, if we were to drop down to those lower ranges, it's a swing in the market. Doesn't necessarily mean that we're trending down. Doesn't mean that we're trending up either at the moment. So everything is what it is. And of course, we can go and zoom out into those bigger pictures. We can take a look at the 4-hourly chart, for example, here. The weekly chart, and pay attention to kind of what's going on with the weekly. In fact, if I bring that over into our view here, come up to this for a second, and I actually just go ahead and just find the EMA indicator here, throw this onto the chart. Actually, no, I don't want that one. I want this one here. Okay, and I just want a single EMA, you see. And I've come into the settings, go to my inputs, go and make this a 200 weekly moving average. And what I'll do is I'll also make it nice and white, and I'll make the line bigger, and click OK. And the reason for this is you can kind of see that we're below this area, right? So being below the 200 weekly moving average, most traders are going to know that this is now confirmation of a bear market, right? They look at anything above the 200 weekly moving average, or the 200 EMA, as being bullish, right? But when you're below it, it's bearish. Now, we've retested this once and we got rejected from it. Chances are we would test again and get rejected, but we haven't seen any major movements with this to the downside. Now, if I bring this into our a daily time frame, you can see that we're still below it. Maybe we're looking for a retest on it, possibly. I'm not expecting any of that though. And you can kind of see here, the testing and the retesting occurring with this EMA, right? So this is an important one. I don't tend to like it, and not terribly too much, but it's there, and we should obviously acknowledge it and all those wonderful things. So just bear those things in mind, specifically when we talk about those macro pictures, right? And if I actually bring it up onto this one, you can kind of see how we barely were below it in the 2018, but we've been below it for quite some time here. So this is definitely an interesting place to be for Bitcoin, and we want to make sure that we're fully aware of those structures. If I come back up into our hourly chart here for on Binance and Bitcoin USDT pair, we are looking at these structures, and we are saying to ourselves we've got to come back down. We aren't actually going anywhere near testing that EMA, but as time progresses, that EMA is going to start slipping down as it moves with 200 data points, or 200 candles, depending on what time frame you're on. So just bear in mind that EMA is going to start curving down, and if we're going to test it and we're not going to break through it, it could be pretty bearish for Bitcoin. So we don't want to kind of hide around or hide behind any kind of indicators and things like that too much. Market structure is everything, and price analysis is everything. So it's important that we kind of reflect on these things and as they stand. So at the moment, I'm expecting a fifth wave higher, and then we're looking for a bit of a break to the downside after that. It does look like 335, but if we do hit 21,666, then it could be possible that it's actually a 5-wave move upwards, which is a much bigger play. Still puts it in this structure, just makes it very, very, very frustrating to kind of see how it kind of plays out. But nonetheless, guys, I'm going to leave this video right there. If you have found it useful and informative, hit the like button. I do appreciate that. If you happen to be new to the channel, then do go ahead and subscribe, tap the bell, select all notifications, and in doing so, you will be kept up to date with absolutely everything that we do here at Cheeky Crypto. With all that said, done and out of the way, hope everyone has a fantastic day, and I'll catch you all in the next one.